Hello there, I'm sitting here with Dorey The Wise. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Maybe you'd like to introduce yourselves because we have got a new member to the band. So you can go left to right or right to left.
Let's start with a new member.
Start with a new member.
Hello, I'm James. I'm now playing bass for Dorey. So.
I'm Chris. I'm lead guitar and backing vocals.
I'm Aidan. I am rhythm guitar and lead vocals.
I'm Elliot and I play the drums and
So
backing
how,
vocals.
as individuals, how did you all actually start playing? Did you come from musical backgrounds or learn at school or something like that?
After you.
Well, my personal one is I used to play rugby, and then I realised I was better at playing music, and it was more interesting to girls.
That's funny.
Quite impressive
I used to play cricket and then I decided to take up the drums.
to impress girls.
That's a bit weird. I didn't realise you played rugby.
Yeah, see.
So it's a sporting.
Yeah,
sporting
you realise you're
band.
rubbish at sport.
Any other
and then-
sports in the band?
Definitely not sport, no.
I played county rugby.
Right, okay. You're the odd one out. Have you joined the right band?
We get a bit rough.
Someone to make us a little bit less sporty.
So what about you guys? I mean, how did you first start? Impressing girls as well, or other
No,
reasons?
for me it was much earlier. It was kind of, I learned to play the guitar at primary school at a young age, but I think being exposed to kind of music by my parents kind of made me stick with it, and sort of from there just sort of started playing just by myself really. And by the time I was sort of 14, 15, I'd already been playing for a little while, so that's kind of how I got into it. Really, so.
I spent quite a long time in my bedroom geeking out over pop punk bands and classic rock music and just playing along. Really, I sort of taught myself. I got a Squire guitar and just learned really by just listening to songs I liked.
So were you inspired by parents' record collections? You suggested that. I mean, some people are, some people aren't. They might have cool parents to some other people.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Good influence.
Especially my dad.
Yeah?
Yeah. Things like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Pink
my dad's
Floyd,
Zeppelin,
big
Floyd.
influence.
That era.
But he's also ABBA. It kind of gives you a bit of a kind of a rounded
Right.
view on life.
So, a good song
Great
is a
pop
good song.
songs,
Yeah.
Great pop songs.
Yeah. So was there a moment throughout your lives where you suddenly playing the music and you suddenly thought, this is what I want to do? Maybe get a bit more serious rather than just trying to impress girls.
I think once we became a four-piece for me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was in a really like rubbish year 7 band, and I was at school, and we had like the opportunity to play in front of the whole school on the stage, and I felt like, you know, the best thing in the world. So since then I felt really like this is what I want to do.
I think I might remember that.
I think that happens. I mean, I know other local bands had the same sort of thing. They started the bands as like a project at school. They were studying music or something along the lines, and that's what so many bands come out of school bands. But everyone has to start somewhere. There might be a rubbish band to start with, but it gives you that inspiration.
Yeah, we were called Overload. I think that's quite a cool name.
I'd like it to be known that we weren't involved.
You've heard the music, but no. So was it just that? I'd say adulation of the crowd, but impressing your friends.
I loved the feeling of it. I loved the feeling like I was like on top of the world, all arrogant, like an arrogant teenager.
Yeah,
yeah, I loved it.
Well, it's that adrenaline buzz, isn't it? I suppose, and you think, I want some more of this. So, any other moments you can think of that might have sort of said, right, this is it?
I think for me, playing, going from acoustic instruments to electric instruments, that kind of opened up a whole, you know, there was already kind of that kind of music going on with acoustic, but playing an electric guitar or electric bass, it kind of really kind of opens up kind of a much more interesting kind of more influences coming in. Yeah, more options. Yeah.
And you have to buy more equipment usually
more
as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and then you get hooked on it.
Yeah, so that shows a level of commitment, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So what about influences? You're talking about parents' record collections, but either when you were growing up or now as a band, what influences you music-wise?
Your Spotify playlists.
Oh, thanks, mate. That's very kind. I quite like, I think it's this idea of maybe writing songs that seem happy on the surface, but actually they're a bit deeper. There's a bit more anger a lot of the time in the lyrics. I It's that idea. It's a bit Smiths-esque in that sense. It's a bit more melancholy underneath. But Said the Whale, they're like a Canadian band,
Right.
probably unlikely to be heard of in the UK because we saw them in London and we were the only English people in there.
Oh, so I can't say I know.
They're great. They're really nice indie pop songs. Really kind of make
really
you feel
good
good.
songs,
Yeah.
really good songs.
And lyrically very strong as well.
I think we've all got quite different influences, haven't we?
Very much,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
quite
Yeah.
nice, isn't it?
Because I'm more of a kind of singer-songwriter background. I
Right.
quite like Billy Bragg.
Yeah.
And then Elvis Costello, obviously, with his band. It's just insane.
Yeah, I don't know really. I'm a bit funny. I don't listen to a lot. I don't listen to as much music as I should. So I'm really starting to listen to new music more so because I'm missing so much. There's so much out there.
Oh, yes.
But in terms of the way I sort of like to learn and what I've been listening to a lot is things like Hendrix, John Mayer, lots of Clapton as well.
Older stuff generally.
Gomez, a band called Gomez.
Yeah.
Who I'm a big fan of.
Well, they're a bit different. So has that helped you? I mean, personally, now listening to that music and indulging a bit more, has that actually helped?
I think
helping you now?
listening to great guitarists has helped me become a better musician. But in terms of songwriting, I'm very much a fan of like Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
And Biffy Clyro as well. About
Quite powerful riffs.
yeah, powerful riffs. Yeah, very very guitar based indie music. Rather than
Harder edge to it a bit.
yeah, rather than the more like a thinner underlying sort of guitar based, more heavier basically.
Yeah. So I mean, you got together. How did you get together? Were you at school together? Suggested maybe a couple of you were or not?
Chris and I used to play together as like a two-piece.
So you're going to say date?
We never dated. I've told you this. So Chris and I used to play together at college, and then from there it was kind of built up. We decided we needed to expand to conquer.
To conquer.
No, we decided we needed to kind of open up a bit, and it gives you as James said, once you go electric, it kind of gives you more scope. So we went from an acoustic duo and then opened up.
I joined, for one Beatles day.
Oh, really?
Hastings. They needed a drummer to help them out, and Chris was teaching at the school that I was in at the time, and he asked me if I wanted to help them, and then I played the gig with them that evening. He rang me up. I was like, "Yeah, do you want to join the band?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh,
That's it.
yeah."
Yeah. Well, you didn't realise we'd signed you into a contract that night. You didn't even.
Yeah.
That's it.
You didn't even realise that you'd signed it.
Signed his life away.
10-year contract.
Yeah, 10 years.
We'll review that soon.
And obviously, you're the new man. You don't.
Much later. I mean, I got an email from Aidan in, I think it was April, and then we're in need
So
of
did
a
you know each other beforehand?
Yeah, I've played in bands in Hastings. I lived in Hastings all of my life. So I've always been aware of Dorey and I've been to the gigs. And so we're already
Rescued us before, didn't you? When
Chris
to
broke
break
his
us out.
finger once for it, and then he had a gig and stood in for that. So I've played with him before. And they were in need of a bass player and had a few gigs lined up. So I did one gig as a one-off, which was springtime, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That went well. More, there were more gigs. I just did as a kind of, gun for hire, if you like, and then then sort of.
And then you became part of the great bass player shuffle in Hastings.
Yeah. That's right.
Which seems to have affected several bands. I've been
All
talking
at once.
about. Yeah, there's so many. They've all disappeared and gone in different directions. But,
Yeah.
So, how would you describe your music for people who don't know your music? Is there anything? I mean, you talked about influences, but any way you can describe it? Have you got a little catchy little slogan? No.
Well, it's what you said earlier on. It's kind of happy and like nice sounding music, but it's got those really dark undertones to it. And so it's kind of like that indie rocky.
It's got quite an upbeat sort of punchy sound to it as well.
Yeah, it's quite upbeat.
So has the music sort of developed over time? Has it changed?
It's changing at the
still
moment.
going.
Yeah.
As we kind of all constantly, I think, practicing actually and like trying different styles.
Getting to know each other as musicians and that, I suppose, as well.
Yeah. So I think it's that as we keep changing our own styles, it's kind of developing the sound that we're coming up with.
So, I mean, I think you've released 2 EPs, is it now?
Yeah.
So,
I think there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah.
There seems to be a jump in terms of the sound. It's very different.
We recorded them at the same place with the same producer.
right.
But we just spent a lot more time going over things, you know, instead of using the first EP, we more or less put down our live sound. You know, this time we really focused on using different instruments for different things. You know, so many more, you know, guitar parts, adding more to the tracks. You know,
We just spent a little bit more time on the production,
just time.
rather than.
Is it just because you
for
got a
that
bit more experience and understood the process a little
I
bit more,
think so,
more
yeah.
comfortable maybe? doing it?
Yeah, I think the first time we went in, we thought we need to get this down. We need to get it down now. So we just kind of busted through as many tracks as we could.
Was it like
And,
7?
7 in one
Seven
day.
in one
Yeah.
day.
And then
Which
just
was-
adding parts on top. And then this time we sat down. We knew exactly which 4 songs we were going to do.
A bit
Went
more
in
planning.
And did them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
we went to record the EP basically.
I think with our first one, we were. Well, you get excited, don't you? I guess.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of, you just don't know which songs are going to sound good recorded because you haven't heard them recorded before. So we went in and just did all of them.
Because that is the thing, there's songs that sound, or if it's the other way around, you've recorded a song that sounds good, you go to play it live and you want to create that same sound.
And it's just
Some
not.
songs just are very different.
Yeah, we've got a couple of tracks that are a bit like that actually.
Yeah,
Like Burn.
Burn was a strange one to record.
Yeah.
So it's one we'll look at again in the
We'll
future.
come back
Yeah.
to.
So is it a conscious thing now to make EPs rather than albums? Because bands, even local bands, have always released albums. Some still do, but there seems to be a trend now to release EPs of 3-4 songs.
Yeah, I think it means that you can get your best out all the time. So we're currently writing and we're going to record, and it means that the songs that are the best right there and then can go straight out, and it's a slightly more accessible way of doing it, I think.
Yeah.
It has its negatives as well, but it means if you want to, you can get them out a lot quicker.
More regularly.
It's just a bit more accessible.
But you've got, as the album said, all killer, no filler sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's a bit.
We'd hate to sort of just release everything in one go, you know, with 1 or 2 albums, you know, and sort of that's us done. You know, we'd like to take it slowly, I think.
But also, it's cheaper.
It is a lot cheaper.
To make it, it's cheaper.
It
You
is a
don't
lot
4
cheaper.
rather than 10 tracks.
And it keeps you in the public eye every few months or
exactly.
something like that
Doesn't
as well.
Always got something
Can't
to
drift
release.
away.
I think it's just the way people can be seeing music now. It's just it is sort of changing.
Yeah,
really
it
quick,
all has to
isn't
be
it?
immediate. So.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, I do like, you know, bands I like. It's kind of, I do appreciate an album and the way, you know, an ebb and flow. But it's,
Completely.
but I think you need to be in a position now where you have to be sort of have the luxury to be able to do that and have people that will definitely want to consume that. Whereas I think sort of doing things sort of song by song is better, or EP by EP.
So I mean, gig wise, can you remember when you played the first gig as the band, or was it that Beatles day?
It was. That was our first 4-piece gig.
That was, and that was also the first practice that we had on.
Yeah, it was.
Live practice in front of an audience.
Yeah, we practiced at Chris's house beforehand, and obviously there's no
Elliot
drum
tapping-
kit, so Elliot just tapped on my legs.
Yeah.
So good practice.
Pretty
much sums us up, really.
Went alright though, didn't
We're
it?
still pretty much
did
like
go
that,
all
aren't
right. It went very
we?
well.
Still pretty much like that on the practice front.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it proves it's something. It proves that you can work together immediately. So I mean, since then you've done quite a few gigs, both locally, sort of fairly prestigious gigs, a beer festival and things like that, haven't you? But I mean, you have started moving further afield as well.
Yeah, we've had quite a few in Brighton this year.
Yeah,
It's been nice
Brighton
to
and
see.
London.
Brighton and London. We went up to Cheltenham it's actually where I was at university, but for the university summer ball we played with Scouting for Girls and Example as well.
Yeah.
Example. Yeah. Nice guys. So yeah, that was really good. And then we've only had.
Well, there's the Forum as well, Tunbridge
Oh,
Wells. We
Tunbridge
played
Wells,
with Tom
yeah.
Williams and the Boat,
Oh, really?
which
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah, the
really
atmosphere
cool
there
guy.
was great.
They're a
The crowd.
fantastic band.
Yeah,
as well, Tom
I've
Williams,
recently
yeah.
discovered them myself. Actually,
Ah,
I didn't
yeah.
realise that the main man lives in St
Yeah,
Leonard's.
he does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
You've got a phone number, I appreciate it. So, I mean, future plans for you. I mean, you talked about maybe recording another EP. Is that sort of the priority now, or is it gigging?
First
writing as well.
we'll be releasing Tidal Wave, which is another track from the current EP.
Yep.
We'll be releasing that soon actually.
What's that, like a video? You've done a video for it or something?
No video as of yet, but I'm sure something might.
Still in the artwork creating process, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, this track.
Yeah, it's a good example of how our music's kind of changing and developing.
Yeah, it's probably the worst song I've had to write. No, in terms of like what it is to me.
Yeah.
Oh, the hardest.
It's a dark song.
Yeah.
It's dark, but it's
a bit
nice.
weird.
It's quite dynamic though. There's sort of quiet and loud bits, and there's sort of lots of different sections, which it's a fun one to play.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
that's
really
right.
is.
Yeah.
It really does like a tidal wave.
Does what it says on the tin. So, I mean, if you went back and had to do it all again, I mean, would you do anything different? Is there any sort of tips you can give for younger musicians? I know you're not old, don't get me wrong, but...
I'd make sure that we cut out Elliot from the whole thing, to be honest. I think that's probably the best thing we could have done.
More maracas.
More maracas. Just maracas.
No cowbell.
Yeah. All cowbell, actually. No drums, just all cowbell.
I don't know. I think if you're going to record, it's practice.
Yeah.
Beforehand, that's the important
preparation.
You need to be able to walk in and do it rather than walking in and going,
and maybe we should change that bit or something.
Yeah,
you need to make sure you get it perfect.
You need to know exactly what you're doing before you go in.
And just even as a live unit as well, I mean, this is something that does happen, not something that we'd like to do, but this rehearsing regularly and being a tight unit, because that's... I always think when you play live, if there's any adrenaline or just being in a different environment, that kind of sometimes bring the level down a bit, so it needs to be at a high level, so if it does come down a bit, it's still
it means,
really good.
and it means, you know, if any of us have a problem, the other ones can cover. I break a string every gig.
We got your back.
I break a string every gig, so it normally means that Christos has to lose his part to kind of drop in.
Well, once again, it's professionalism and preparation, isn't it?
Yeah, and it works quite nicely.
Working. I think that's something that a lot of people need to understand. That it's work. It's a job. Effectively,
I think it's a long process.
Yeah.
I think that's what we accepted.
Yeah. And patience.
Yeah,
and cohesion. Patience. Because if you don't have patience, then I don't know, you might drive each other insane.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's this idea of like fame and stuff I find really strange. I think we want to be successful as musicians, but I think you have to understand that it's not an overnight thing, is it?
No.
I don't think they...
Well, you know, some bands, it happens, they just release an album and then
it does happen, yeah.
Well, you mentioned the Arctic Monkeys earlier. I mean, that's a classic example of that.
I mean, I was listening to an interview with the Black Keys, and they said it took them 10 years. They said they played Reading, and Franz Ferdinand were on this small stage with them just before Black Keys played, and then 6 months later they were huge. And Black Keys were still on this tiny stage, going around. But now look at the Black Keys.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, you mentioned Hastings. You said you lived here, or I don't know if the rest of you lived here most of your lives. But I mean, what do you make of the scene? You've actually done a few gigs elsewhere. How do you feel the Hastings music scene is, and how does it compare to other places, if you can compare it?
I think in terms of musicians, it's really vibrant.
There's a lot.
It's something I think when I was a kid I took for granted. Like, I'm just, you know, everyone's a musician and of a certain calibre. I think there's a lot of good events. I think obviously it's not an event that happens anymore. Things like the Black Horse Music Festival, but then you've got things like Fat Tuesday now, and so in that respect, it's very, very vibrant. I think it could possibly be I think like we were talking before the interview, like, you know, if there are venues or nights that are more specific to bands that just play original music.
That's the issue.
A bit of space for that.
There's so many good musicians, and there's so many good covers bands, but there seems to be not a lack, but like a less support for an originals band. It makes sense on a venue's part, because you know if you get covers, you're going to get people in because they know the songs.
That works everywhere. I know.
Exactly,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So that's every town in the country. It's just.
I think there is a hunger for it in the town, though.
There's a lot of support for it, actually. I think it's been growing. We've got some good new bands coming out, actually.
It's definitely very versatile as well, isn't it? Like, there's so many different types of bands around the area, which is
good blues players and things.
Loads actually, really good ones.
I think the town attracts sort of certain musicians, the blues and the jazz and the folky sort of side. It's attracted them because of certain events that have been on for a while. As you mentioned, the Black Horse Festival, sadly no longer around, but I think that helped with that. So, but I mean, one thing you're involved with now I'd like to talk about is this project called Off Axis. Yes. Can you explain that for people who might not know?
Yeah, it's a gig swapping system, and it's come from Brazil, I think. Is it Brazil it started in?
I think so.
I'm sure it's somewhere, yeah. It started in Brazil, and it's an idea that you find bands that are similar to yourself, and you invite them in to play gigs at your destination, like your town, with the idea that they'll be your main support to like a sellout crowd. And then once you've done that gig, you then go off to someone else's, and you kind of, it's a gig swap, but you never swap with the same people. You don't swap back, and it's all based on like a point system or something really strange, but it sounds really good actually.
Yeah.
So we've got we're going up to Chester
22nd
of August to support the May Days.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool. Like,
And then
they just sent us a message saying, can we come up and do it?
Because I mean, from what I understand, this is actually a brand new sort of venture.
Yeah.
You're one of the first bands in the country to get involved in it, and you just happen to be from Hastings, which is quite exciting.
Really strange.
So hopefully we get some more bands. But I mean, what happens next? Because you have to put on a gig here, I understand, don't you?
Yeah, so we'll have to put on a gig. We have to find, I think we look at the other bands on the system.
Yeah.
And we choose one or two and see if they can come down, give them some dates.
I suppose you need to find a band that suits you and
us,
your audience, I suppose,
exactly
to an extent.
That. Yeah. And then you kind of have to guarantee a good audience for them and cover the basic costs of getting down from wherever they've come from. Things, but it seems host them, it's just host it. And actually, it sounds quite nice. It gives you the opportunity to get your name out somewhere completely different,
and give the opportunity for other bands to do the same, and
to
meet new bands.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's that sort of networking thing, but it's been organised for you, I suppose. But it sounds like a great idea. So wish you well, and let us know how that goes on. Now, you mentioned the music. So how can people get hold of you, buy your music, social media sites, anything like that? You want to plug? I presume you're on Bandcamp and things like that.
Yeah. SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter.
Instagram.
I
love Instagram.
The whole portfolio.
There's lots of silly things on Instagram of me maybe dancing or walking through tape.
It's basically just me filming Christos on
my day-to-day life.
So can people actually buy the EPs, or do you give them away for free?
EP is available. It's £5. Face to face. How much is it online? Do you know?
On iTunes and Amazon, it's about two
something.
So you're on those. You're on those as well.
Yeah, we're on
iTunes and Amazon and Spotify as well. You can listen to us.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just anything plus Dorey the Wise. So whatever medium you're on, you search Dorey the Wise. Yeah. It's kind of a strange name, so we should be the only ones. There's no covers bands or something, some tribute act.
Tribute act.
Dorey the Wise.
Do you think you need it? I'm not going to go into the meaning of the name, but do you think you need a name that sort of stands out?
I think something that's a bit interesting is good.
It raises a lot of questions. A lot of people ask about the name quite a lot.
Yeah, again, it has its benefits and then it has its negatives.
Unfortunately,
the main negative being Dorey and the Wise, or Dorey the Wise. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah. And also Dorey is spelled D-R. No.
This is all the problems, obviously.
D-O-R-E-Y. And not D-O-R-Y. So a lot of people think it's like like Dorey the fish.
Yeah. Okay.
See, when I first saw you guys play, that's what I thought the name was about. I thought it was about.
Yeah.
It's not a fish reference.
No. Anyway, we won't go there. So. Anyway, thanks guys. So best of luck with the future. Best of luck with the off-axis thing. Thanks for talking to us. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.